Okay, I've had a little bit of a break from videos. That's terrible. This is a little bit different. I don't always show you a multimeter. So why would I show you a multimeter? Because, by the way, I've got to buy some new leads for it. This was covered totally in rubbish. The plastic had moulded itself onto there, and I must be very honest. It was one of my famous products, once again, that you see me talking about from time to time, that cleaned this up beautifully. There were cracks all over it. The plastic had basically moulded itself to the front. I wish I had taken a before shot. But this is the Sanwa. It's fuse and diode protected, as you can see there. Basically, the thing about it that is most interesting, of course, is this position. So you're out in the field and you've got your voltmeter, your milliamps, ohms, blah, blah, blah. You can do all you want, but also SWR, power meter, 12 watts, 120 watts. Look at this, HF, I don't know if you can see it, 50 megs, 144 megs, all selectable. Now this TX301 was very rare. It was one of those things that I was fortunate enough to get off somebody, and those that know me well go back about 30 years ago, and a guy with a panel van used to be on CB radio. Those who know me well will know who I bought this from. Ended up doing a bit of jail time. Okay, this is not stolen, by the way. Anyway, that's where it came from 30 odd years ago. And I had lost track of it. And as you guys know, I've got a lot of stuff sitting in a container, stuff that hasn't been touched for 5 years. Well, that's not where it was. It was in the bottom of a drawer that I'd already bought into the shed, and I found it, and I thought, right. So what was the first problem? Okay, corroded batteries, corroded C-cells, corroded 9-volt connections, so we replaced all those, and inside we've got that looking pretty good. We then cleaned the front of it and made it look really smick, which is great. And these were very accurate. We tested these against some of our service monitors. I used to take this into Jensen Electronics as a young apprentice, and I used to show off with it. I'd be like, mine's got more function than yours, and and the service manager that then became my business partner, David Green, he went out of his way to find something, so he bought a Schlumberger $40,000 analyzer, and he said, I think mine's got more functions than yours. And I went, yeah, whatever, you're the service manager. Anyway, I've got some really dicey leads on it at the moment, but it does actually work, sort of, maybe, possibly. Oh, if I put it into, hang on, right, bring that back. One of us is stupid and it's not you. Okay, right, so still, oh sorry, there we go, still zeroes up nicely and works beautifully. A lot of people out there, I mean, I know you've got used to using digital meters, but when you were an apprentice in the 1970s, early 80s, you got very used to using, especially for testing transistors, FETs, etc. You just knew where, base emitter, base collector, collector base, blah, 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 blah. You could just sit there and know where each meter function would go to. And the strange thing is, when you've learnt that way, you don't easily convert over to a digital meter. Now, look, the truth is I can do it with a digital meter, but you learn where your roots are when you see this meter come back into, because this will be on the workshop bench and probably not being used in the SWR function very often, but as you can imagine, if you did go out to your mate's place and you didn't know what the fault was, well, it's a nice little piece of a tool to take with you. Anyway, so that's the Sanwa TX301. Sanwa was a pretty reasonably, reasonable name. As you can see on there, one of the things this does do is HFE testing on transistors. And believe me, that has saved my butt more than once. So you just need to know how to test and how to make that function work. and it's not as simple as it looks. It's a little bit of Dave Green teaching me quite a few things over a lot of years. So anybody thinks I'm smart, just remember David Green, Jensen Electronics, 4 years under him. Not literally, thank God, but that was how it was, how an apprenticeship became a career, and how a career became a great hobby that I love so much. Thanks very much for having a look at this peculiar meter. I should, before I go, just quickly show you the back, I suppose. Look how old this thing is on the back. Serial number still intact. The warning label, good on you, and antenna connections, of course, transmit and antenna on there. So that's how you basically did it. And anybody's wondering what's on this bit of paper, that is me working 40 meters into Costa Rica, and then I had a long talk with K7GI Craig. There you go. All right, well, thanks guys. Nice to put another video up just to say, well, I haven't died or anything. Sorry, it's been a little while between sort of doing a few things, but we've just been a bit active. But we've got a big FT, well, we have an FT101E that we're going to do some before and afters on this week. So get ready for the worst looking FT101E you have ever seen in your life. And I mean the absolutely tragically worst. And we're going to turn it into a piece of beauty. Okay, 73s from VK3 Charlie Mike. Cheers.